transportation budget, car cost you might be missing. Picture this, you just bought a car, you did the math, the price tag fits your budget, the monthly loan payment fits your budget, even the fuel cost fit your budget. You feel proud, responsible, in control, and then 18 months later, you look at your bank statement and wonder where all your money went. This happens to millions of people every single year in every country on every continent because the price you pay to buy a car is never the price you pay to own a car. There is a second hidden budget running quietly in the background made of small changes, forgotten fees, and slow invisible decay. Today, we are going to expose that hidden budget point by point so you can finally see the true cost of the vehicle sitting in your driveway. Whether you already own a car or about to buy one or simply trying to understand where your money disappears to. This episode is for you. Let's begin. Point number 1, the purchase price is just the entry ticket. Most people believe that once they pay for the car, the biggest expense is behind them. This is the first and most dangerous myth in transportation budgeting. The purchase price, whether paid in cash or through a loan, is simply the entry ticket into a much longer financial commitment. Think of buying a car like buying a house plant. The plant itself might cost very little, but the pot, the soil, the water, and the sunlight, and the years of car that follow are what truly determine the cost of keeping it alive. A car works the same way. For example, someone who buys a mid-range car for $15,000 often assumes that number represents most of their spending. In reality, that same car may demand another $15,000 to $20,000 over the next 5 years in cost. Nobody mentioned on the day of purchase. The entry ticket gets you in the door, but the show is far from over. Next, point number 2. Depreciation is the silent wealth killer. If the purchase price is the ticket, depreciation is the invisible tax you pay every single day you own the car. Whether you drive it or not, depreciation means the vehicle loses value simply by existing, by aging, by becoming yesterday small. Most new cars lose around 20% of their value in the first year alone. Another by year 5, many have lost more than half their original worth, which is money that disappears without a single receipt, without a single transaction you can point to. For example, imagine buying a brand new car for $30,000. 5 years later, even with the careful maintenance and low mileage, the same car might sell for only $12,000. That $18,000 gap did not vanish because something broke. It vanished simply because time passed. Depreciation is the quiet cost that connects directly to what we will discuss next, because how you finance that depreciating asset changes everything about your total expenses. Next, point number 3, loan interest turns a number into a big number. Once we understand that a car loses value over time, financing that same car with long loan becomes a much riskier decision than it first appears. When you take a car loan, you are not just repaying the price of the vehicle, you are also paying interest, which is the bank's fee for lending you the money. The longer the loan term, the more interest piles are on top. Even if your monthly payment looks smaller and more comfortable, for example, a $20,000 car loan at 6% interest over 3 years might cost around $2,000 in interest. Stretch that same loan to 7 years and the interest can climb past $4,500, sometimes more, all while the car itself is depreciating faster than you are paying it off. This creates a dangerous zone called being underwater, where you owe more than the car is worth. Understanding this connection between loan length and depreciation is the first real step toward true financial control over your vehicle. Next, point number 4, insurance is not a flat fee, it's a moving target. Many people budget for insurance once at the beginning and then forget to revisit it, assuming the number stays fixed forever. In truth, insurance premiums shift constantly based on your car model, your driving record, your location, your age, and even broader market trends in the insurance industry. A spotter or more expensive car almost always cost more to insure because repair cost and theft risk are higher. For example, 2 people driving cars of similar price might might pay very different insurance premiums simply because one car is statistically more likely to be stolen or expensive to repair after an accident. On the top of that, a single accident or violation can raise your premium for years. Afterward, quietly adding hundreds of dollars annually without you noticing the pattern. This moving target of insurance connects directly to the next hidden cost because the more you drive, the more exposure you create, and the exposure is exactly what insurance companies are pricing. Next, point number 5, fuel cost fluctuate more than you think. Fuel is one of the few cost people to track. Yet they usually track it wrong, calculating only what they spend today rather than what they will spend across the life of the vehicle. Fuel prices are influenced by global politics, seasonal demand, and regional supply, meaning your monthly fuel budget from last year may look nothing like this. Here's reality. For example, someone commuting 50 kilometers daily in a fuel inefficient vehicle might have budgeted comfortably during a period of low prices, only to find their monthly fuel spending double during a global price spike. This is why fuel efficiency, not just fuel price, matters so much when choosing a vehicle. A car with a better mileage acts like insurance against future price shocks. And this leads naturally into our next point because fuel is not the only ongoing consumable your car depends. Next, point number 6, maintenance hides in the gaps between big repairs. Routine maintenance often feels optional in the moment, which is exactly why it becomes expensive later. Oil changes, brake pads, tire rotations, filters, and fluid top-ups are small individually, but they accumulate into a significant annual cost that many owners simply forget to plan for. For example, a car owner who skips regular oil changes to save $50 today might face an engine repair costing well over $1,000 a few years later because neglected small maintenance often causes larger mechanical failure. This is the classic case of being penny wise and dollar foolish. Tires alone, often overlooked entirely, can cost several $100s to replace every few years, depending on driving habits and road conditions. Maintenance is not a cost you avoid by ignoring it. It is cost you delay and multiply. And delayed cost brings us directly to the next item category under the unexpected repair. Next, point number 7, unexpected repairs are not actually unexpected. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Unexpected repairs are only unexpected because we choose not to accept them. Every vehicle, no matter how reliable its brand, will eventually need a repair outside of routine maintenance, whether it's a failing battery, a broken alternator, or a transmission issue. The smart approach is not to hope these repairs never happen, but to build a dedicated repair but fund into your monthly budget, treating it like a bill you pay to your future self. For example, setting aside just $50 a month creates a $600 cushion each year, enough to absorb most mid-range repairs without financial stress or emergency borrowing. Owners who skip this step often end up using high interest credit to cover surprise repairs, turning a mechanical problem into a dead problem. Preparing for repairs in advance is what separates confident car owners from anxious ones, and this same principle of preparation applies to our next hidden cost as well. Next, point number 8, registration, taxes, and fees renew every single year. Beyond the visible cost of driving and maintaining a car, there is an entire layer of government related expenses that renew annually and rarely get proper attention in a personal budget. This registration fees, road tax, emission testing, and local vehicle levies exist in nearly every country, and they tend to increase gradually over time rather than staying fixed. For example, someone who registered their vehicle for $200 in their first year might find that renewal creeping toward $250 or $300 just a few years later, especially in regions adjusting for inflation or environmental pressure. These fees are easy to forget precisely because they only appear once a year, making them feel small in the moment, even though they add up significantly over the lifetime of ownership. Recognizing this recurring government mandated cost prepares us for the next expense, one that many drivers pay constantly without even realizing it. Next, point number 9, parking and tolls quietly drain daily cash. Where you park and how you commute can silently become one of the largest ongoing costs of car ownership. especially for people living in cities. Daily parking fees, monthly parking permits, and toll roads are costs that rarely get included in the original car buying decision, yet they repeat every single working day of the year. For example, a commuter paying just $5 a day for parking and tolls combined might not think much of it in a month. But across 22 working days a month, that becomes $110, and over a year, more than $3,000, revealing the cost of insurance itself. People who work in city centers or live in dense urban areas often underestimate this cost the most because each individual payment feels too small to track. When we add this to everything discussed so far, purchase price, depreciation, interest, insurance, fuel, maintenance, repairs and fees, the picture becomes clear that car is not one expense but an entire ecosystem of expenses. This brings us to our final of an invisible cost. Next point number 10, opportunity cost. The money your car prevents you from making. The final hidden cost is the hardest to see because it is not a bill you receive. It is a possibility to you never got to experience. Opportunity cost means the money you spend on your car is money that could have grown somewhere else, whether in savings, investments, or a business area. For example, if someone spends $600 a month on total car related expenses and instead invested even half of that consistently over 10 years in a modest investment vehicle, they could potentially build a fund worth tens of thousands of dollars simply through the power of consistent saving and compounding growth. This does not mean cars are a mistake. Transportation is often a necessary for work, family, and daily life. But understanding this final cost helps you make more conscious choices like buying a slightly less expensive car, keeping it longer, or choosing more efficient transportation when possible. Every one of the 9 points before this one feeds into a final number because the less you leak into hidden car cost, the more freedom you create for your future self. Finally, at last. So there it is, the true anatomy of car ownership and interconnected costs that quickly work together to consume far more of your income than most people ever realize. From the purchase price and depreciation on to loans and insurance to fuel and maintenance to repairs, taxes, parking, and finally the opportunity cost of money that could have grown elsewhere. Every piece connects to the next like links in a chain. The goal of this episode was never to make you fear owning a car, but to make you see it clearly, honestly, and completely. Because once you can see the full picture, you can budget for it, plan for it, and most importantly, control it instead of being controlled by it. If this episode helped you see your own transportation cost differently, take a moment to calculate your true monthly car expense using everything we covered today. Share this with someone who might be underestimating their own numbers. And as always, keep learning, keep building, and we will see you in the next episode. Thank you.